Chapter 5. Respect your time. One day, I set out with friends to buy something at the grocery store. When it was just a woman in between the cashier and us, this woman went livid. She said the price of the veggie she wanted to buy, while it was still on the shelf, and it read $2.45. Apparently, she did not know that it read $2.45 per kilogram. She didn't return it, and she didn't leave the line. She simply decided to rant on and on until they sold it to her at the right price. The cashier didn't budge because she was tired and were so many of us on the queue. I knew this woman wasn't going to budge, so I decided to be nice to check the price out. I snapped it with my phone and I showed it to the woman. If her eyes were fire, then you can be sure that I would have been burned up immediately. She gave me the nosy neighbor and I didn't send you look. I didn't mind because I wanted to leave the store immediately. She dragged herself out of the line and I gladly paid for my stuff and left. I had spent a lot of time in the store that I missed my mom's ride. I had to walk back home instead of waiting for 45 minutes to catch the next bus, which is the reason for my story. So why would I walk instead of waiting for the bus? Other it is a reason to exercise my limbs. I believe sitting down for 45 minutes and doing nothing is a sheer waste of my important time. This may seem insignificant to some people, but to others like me, my time is priceless, and I make sure that I give it the utmost respect that it deserves. Not all effort or work equates to money. If you wake up early and go to big bustling cities, you find many young people rushing off to work. Many of them have a white-collar job with salaries and a whole lot of debt since they are creditworthy, and many of them will spend most of their career receiving and servicing loans. I have nothing against people who do white-collar jobs, but when their effort on the work doesn't equate to money, many of these youths don't understand this, and so they give out both their time and their freedom. This usually a result of the traditional educational system that says go to school, then get a job with a good salary. It doesn't matter if you have a title and a business card. If you have no value for your time, then it will be evident in your pay. Ask yourself, how many loans are you servicing currently? How would you rate your creditworthiness? When you think of your salary, what comes into your mind? When you slot your card into the ATM, how do you feel about what you see? Do you love public holidays, or do you like TGIF, or TGIW, thank God it's Friday, or thank God it's a weekend? The answers to these questions will tell you if your effort on your job is worth the money you receive. If you give your precious time for something that isn't worth it, then it isn't advisable no matter how you try to justify the work. This isn't good for you and your family. You need to value your time because it is essential if you are going to succeed in life. Sometimes I have quite a number of tasks to accomplish for each day, but I make sure I do the most important ones. If you don't value your time, then no one will value it for you. If you value your time, you will value the time of others in the same way. But if you value the time of others and they don't value your time in that manner, then you shouldn't do the same to them. This doesn't mean you have to value your time only because you want others to value it for you. It is your time and no one else's. It is not allowing others abuse your time by underpaying you for your time. Realize that you have limited time. If someone offers you something that is worth your time, politely reject it. Someone told me he was offered $30 for a 7-hour job. You are worth far more money to be managed or the thank you after a huge task. I allowed people to run over me because I was broke and desperate. This is what some employers like to take advantage of you, so you have to understand your worth and realize your worth, or others will take advantage of you. Your time, just like life, is limited to spend it on what counts. So how do you live like your time is precious? It's simple. You need to understand your worth. When you understand your worth, you live up to it, and it becomes your fragrance. People will no longer run over you or offer you jobs with ridiculous amount. Here are a few tips to help you too. Number 1, avoid lateness. When you are late, you tell people that your time isn't important. Try to avoid it at all costs. Number 2, spend your time on important things. Life is short and fleeting, so make every second of your day count by spending it on things that matter. You can pick up a new skill by watching videos online or read about it online. You can do this when you are in the bathroom as a judicious use of your time. You can play some audios or video even when you are taking a shower. You will be surprised that your mind is taking in this information even if you don't realize it. What's important to you? To answer this question, go through your priorities. Sometimes the answer to this is what you do subconsciously. You may pick your phone and go through social media before your mind registers what you are doing. Check your priorities, rearrange it, and decide what is important to you. Number 3, stop making excuses no matter how valid it might be. The more you give excuses, the more you continue to delay or waste your time. You need to stop making excuses for your wrong attitude, or else you wouldn't stop it. There are times when your excuses are valid, like if you are sick, or if there are emergencies such as an accident, an injury, or death. In cases like this, try to out a call through to whomever you will be meeting with. Number 4, focus on the little things. Sometimes we get carried away when preparing or waiting or preparing for the big events or big things that we often forget about the small things. You want to know the truth? You can't do big things well if you don't do well with the little things. Remember that you need to make every second count. Respect yourself and your time by keeping to your word. If you are too busy at work, find a way to make it up yourself by taking a break and relaxing. Make it up to your family too, because your time is important to them. Number 5, reduce the amount of things you do at once. It is way easier to do one or a few things at once than it will be to do so many things at once. When you do a few things, it is easier for you to focus and get a few things accomplished than it is to do too many things at once, because some things can easily slip through your mind without your permission and you waste your time. So don't do more than your capacity and feel like you are more than capable. Number 6, focus on the moment. You can't spend your time wisely if you keep focusing on what you did wrong in the past or what you intend to do later in the future. Everything will work out well if you can focus on doing everything right for now, because it will correct the wrongs of the past and help you make wise decisions for the future. Number 7, avoid procrastination. Ensure that you stick with your priorities and all the tasks you set up for the day. When you roll over your task to the following day, your mind has a way of reading it to mean it isn't important, and you can spend your time on more important things. If you find out that you have to choose in between tasks like see a movie or study for your exams, then you have to reprioritize. For me, I had to choose between work and seeing the movie Game of Thrones. I had to hurry up and do all the things I wanted to do in order to create the time for my movie. Don't try to see the movie first, or you might as well not get anything done. If you need to turn off the internet, then by all means make sure you do it. Number 8, you have the remote control of your life. The honest truth is that you are the sole coordinator of your life. Your time and your life are in your hands, so you have to decide to do something important with it. You need to be able to make good and profitable choices. Don't allow people to control you or waste your time. It is all about how you respect your time and your life. Number 9, know your abilities, strengths, and limits. Don't just know them, stick with them and build on them. This will increase the value you have in yourself, and you will also spend your time wisely and on important stuff. Number 10, keep your eyes on the prize. There will always be distractions, and lots of them at that. I feel like if you create your priority list for the day, the distraction list just springs up by itself. I found out that besides emergencies, distractions are the things you really like. It could be series like Game of Thrones, spending time on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, spending unnecessary time on the internet, or focusing on other people instead of yourself or your time and your needs. Ensure that you always remind yourself of what you want to spend your time on and what you want to accomplish. Ask yourself what would hurt if you don't achieve it. Focus your time on these things. Number 11, determine how you will spend your days and your week ahead. What happens when you wake up without a thought of how you should spend your day? This means that you may end up not doing anything good with your time for the rest of the day. It is possible that you will wander aimlessly for the rest of the day. You waste your time and your day doing nothing. Take a particular time of the week or plan your week. Make sure you do this consistently. Number 12, practice self-care. By self-care, I mean meditation, reflection, mindfulness, exercises, or anything that helps you feel rejuvenated and ready to take over the world. The good thing about practicing self-care is that it puts you in the right frame of mind to make good plans. In conclusion, I have found out that the top things that distinguish people who are successful from those who aren't is the way that they spend their time. If you think it was money, then you are wrong. Priorities differ, and how both sets of people spend their time is equally different too. You don't need to say yes to everyone around you. You need to be confident enough to say no. If you can do this, then your time stays as yours. The amount of time you spend on yourself is an indication of how much you value yourself. Remember, it's you first, before anyone or anything.